is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Run It Back. I'm your host, Jazsmin Halliburton. Joining with me is none other than John the Shake Grove, giving you the good old horns down. Because, man, something about doing this show after beating Texas just feels right in my spirit. Was able to do it when volleyball swept the mugs in Morgan Family Arena, and I get to do it again today. It just feels different. It just feels right, John.
It can't get any better than this, Jazsmin. Can't get any better. I mean, I'm all decked all and all this gear that I have because I have just a hatred towards Texas, unlike any other team. I mean, it's up there with Kansas and Missouri. But they tried to destroy a conference. Any team that beats Texas at this point, I am so happy. I even have a shirt on here. I'll try and move it real quick. But it's like a eat beef. Texas, of course. I think I got it during one of the baseball games. They were handing it out, but nonetheless, any win over Texas is a win. It's a monumental win. That's for certain.
Now, John got the goods. He's decked out with the hat, the shirt, the itty bitty miniature Texas Longhorn helmet that he made sure to hold upside down because there's no other way to hold a Longhorn than upside down. And like I told him, if he can balance that on his head for any portion of the show, I will be more than impressed. But you know what? Yeah, that'll work. Just like that. Just the man just can't move for the remainder of the show. And he can do that to the best.
Good luck with it.
But not for real though. Yesterday, on Saturday, this was a ranked matchup. Mano a mano. Texas came in number 10. Kansas State came in number 12. Should they have been higher than number 12? Absolutely, and every single Wildcat fan will tell you that. Only people who don't seem to listen are the wrong people who have a vote in the AP poll. But that's either here or there at this very moment, because we're going to get to that in a second, all right? But still, K-State beating, honestly, a really good Texas team. A really good Texas team without Roy Harmon is still a really good Texas team. Almost, John, almost. It just fell. But a really good Texas team. And they ended up beating them 61-58. And as I was watching this game, John, I'm like, you know what? This Texas team is better than Iowa to me. They're watching them. They're so much better than Iowa. Obviously, K-State is 1-1 against Iowa this season, and so far, God willing, they meet them again in March. But I was looking because Iowa is essentially a one-man band with Caitlin Clark, which that's not a bad thing. When you have a baller like Caitlin Clark, yeah, she's going to be your feature player 1 through 5. However way you can get her the ball is what you're going to do. That's the game plan. Write it up, send her out there. Ain't no problems with that because she's the best player in the country. All right. But when you have a team like Texas, that is really good. They have multiple good players where you're not focusing on just one player. Each one of those players out on the court can give you buckets. We saw that with Madison Booker. She was handing out buckets yesterday, and it seemed like she was just about unstoppable, right? Like it's every single one of them can give you a chance to hand out some buckets, and they did that. That's why I think that Texas is like this. It's a better team. Will it go down in the stat sheet as a better win than beating Iowa? No, it won't, because that's the team that was in the national championship last year, and that's the team that does have the best player in the country right now. Yeah, it's true, but overall, the roster, I think that Texas was a better team to beat.
And I think you got to point this out as well, Jazsmin. They're by far more physical than any other team that we saw on this schedule. Agreed. Because we saw several low-scoring quarters in this game. It was very physical. And kudos to K-State. By halftime, they limited Texas to just 32%. And then after the final 60 minutes of the game, actually, I take it back, 40 minutes of the game, since it's 10 minutes, 4 quarters of 10 minutes. It's been a long morning. I mean, the faucet is cold. It's that time of the year. Even with Texas showing strong physicality with all their playmakers, K-State responded back, giving them their own. It was a dogfight from the start to the end. Texas averages 88.5 points per game, and K-State limited them to just 58. And Texas, for that matter, I mean, this was not a high-scoring game by all means for K-State's sakes, but, you were kind of in unfamiliar territory at certain points because you were down in the third quarter by a pretty significant amount. I mean, 6 or 7 you could still come back to, but it looked as if Texas was kind of opening the gap a little bit. I mean, K-State made the plays necessary after a Jazsmin timeout, and they just start clicking. Of course, the Zion Walker buzzer beater at the end of the third quarter, which was insane, and it really all culminated towards the fourth quarter, where it just looked like K-State wanted it more than Texas, just all around. Whether it was just the speed, the athleticism, just the physicality inside, it looked like K-State was just wanting it way more than what Texas has bargained for.
And it's crazy because I know at that time when K-State was down, like this was down 6, 7 points, and this was a game to where points are hard to come by.
Really?
It's like this was a game that had 12 lead changes and 11 ties in this game. No one was able to pull away whatsoever because K-State and Texas are the 1 and 2 best defensive teams in the Big 12. They are at 1 and Texas is at 2. Okay. And this was like you said, offense was it is hard to come by. It was neck and neck tight the entire time. So when Texas got up 6, 7 points, I want to say just past midway through the third quarter before K-State ended up getting on 11-0 run going into the start of the fourth quarter. That's one of those things dang, any other time this might not have been the game for K-State, but they already went through a game similar to this against Iowa, bringing them back up because first time playing them around, it was another dogfight. It was a game with multiple lead changes. It was a game that had multiple ties, and at some point Iowa was up, I think 5 or 7 in a game where points were so hard to come by, and then K-State was able to get on a run. It's the fact that they've seen this before. They've seen this movie before. Yes, I do think that Texas is a much more physical team than Iowa. 10 times out of 10, Texas is way more physical. They were playing man defense crazy. They were in your space constantly. Every time you picked up your dribble, you were stuck. You were stuck until somebody literally had to come bail you out. And that's why we had a lot of, late in the shot clock, shot attempts, right? And some worked out, some didn't. That's just what kind of game that it was. But the fact that they are able to get that lead back after being down 7 and going on this run into the fourth quarter where they never gave up that lead again, it was just something different.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there, Jazsmin. And I think another thing to point out as well, I mean, you want to talk about that Iowa game all the way back in November. I mean, you got to point out that Iowa was all the way back in November. K-State has had a slew of Big 12 opponents come and go here or there, where K-State is just typically the first quarters start off very slow. And K-State, for that matter, against Texas, they started pretty fast, but they were able to pull away and win by double digits. And I think this is probably the first team that we've seen on K-State's schedule since the Iowa game where it's really gone down to the line. And both teams are making a whole lot of tremendous defensive stops, especially with Texas, where they were they were guarding the hell out of the inbounds just constantly. It was a very, very aggressive defense that the Longhorns displayed on the court. And, it was so physical to the point where, you were just seeing several injuries occur, especially towards the end of the game. Of course, Gabby Gregory, hope she is doing a lot better. And hopefully she's able to get, hopefully she's good to go for TCU on Wednesday. It looked as if it was a rolled ankle, but, several other players from Texas as well. Aoka Lee inside was getting banged up, and the officials were blind as a bat, just trying to figure out where they are and where their positioning is. There was no fouls called inside the paint, just from what I was able to tell, for that matter as well. So, it was a hard fought. Maybe smash mouth isn't the best word. You would typically you'd say that in football terms, but I mean, the teams were just going at it. They were just going at it. Wherever the ball was, they were just going to completely play crowded defense all over you the entire game.
I mean, this is the type of game we knew was going to happen. We knew these are the two best defensive teams in the Big 12. We knew that Texas did have the offensive power, but once again, going up against a K-State defense who only gave up more than 60 points to one team, and that was just Iowa the second time around. That was months ago, a month and a half ago, maybe even 2 months ago was the last time they gave up more than 60 points to a team, I think. And it's I guess, what's the best way to put this? Because once again, this was not a great offensive performance by K-State. That typical offense is not their strongest point. They're still early in the season. It's already gotten better from where the first couple games, started with their offense and where they are now. But defense travels, then. It doesn't matter where you are. If you are home, if you are away, if you're at a neutral site, this defense is going to travel. Sometimes the ball doesn't go your way. Sometimes it bounces off the rim a different way. Sometimes offensively, you just might not have it. But one thing that you can rely on every single time is that damn defense and that damn gap go. All right? That's something that's going to show up every single time. It does not matter who is in front of you. Because when you can play defense 1 through 5, and you got a deep enough bench like K-State has, who also is committed to playing defense, there's not a team in front of you that you think that you cannot beat. It truly isn't, because this is something like, you got John, how you mentioned before, Texas is averaging 80. I looked it up. They're averaging 86.8 points per game. K-State keeping them under 60, 58 points in this game yesterday against the best defense in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Just barely point, like a 10th of a point behind South Carolina as the best, scoring defense in the country, right? This is something that's just, I see continuing throughout this entire season, and it's not letting up.
I agree. I think, limiting their second, especially their second chances as well, because you want to talk about just the size and the advantage that K-State has in the post with Ayoka Lee. You want to also talk about several of the players that Texas was able to put out on the court. It were just, they had 2-3 people surrounding Ayoka Lee. They were able to buy several buckets as well. And limiting their second chances were big. They were a physical, very long team, and they can put up lineups out there that are just extremely difficult. You're just trying to match up with who you're trying to match up against, and sometimes part of it doesn't pan out as well. But you got to dig deep. You got to battle down there and battle for extra positions, get several rebounds. Especially when it comes to later minutes, because especially when it's down, when the game's down on the line, and if you're a home team, you're up by 2 or 3 points, you want to get that extra possession to kind of waste some time, kill some clock, do a damn thing like that. But K-State showed a lot of physicality. Not just, just what's the best way to put this? I would say, while at certain points it looked ugly, it limited the positions that helped K-State on the upper end, for that matter, as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And before we get to more info about this game against Texas, one of the biggest wins of the season so far for K-State, gotta touch on home field apparel. Y'all, it's cold outside, if y'all been able to tell. Across the country, it's cold in Kansas, cold in Missouri. I don't care where the hell you are, it is cold. So please hit up Home Field Apparel, get you some hoodies, get you some sweaters, whatever you feel like you need that has K-State on it, or any school for that matter, to help keep you warm in this negative degree weather. Please, I encourage you to do so. Hit up homefieldapparel.com, and we'll be right back on Run It Back.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
All right, welcome back. And now we're gonna keep moving on this game against Texas. Once again, horns all the way down first and foremost. But just to show you just how this is the hottest team in Manhattan right now. We know this. We've been knew this. But knowing that, one, we had legends in the building yesterday in Bramlett College, and we had Cheryl Swoops WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops in Manhattan, Kansas yesterday to talk about K-State women's basketball against number 10 Texas. And we gave her a show. We gave her a damn show. We gave her an audience. We gave the team an audience, like we pleaded, like we begged the entire week for y'all to show up for this game. And y'all did it.
Yo,
Damn it, y'all did it.
7,000
deep, John.
7,000 strong. I was working the video board show, and there was a lot of people there. And there was another stat bet they threw out during the second half. With the 7,000 people attending the game, K-State has officially surpassed 2 million fans for women's basketball games since Bramlage opened its doors in the late 1980s.
A part of me like, dang, that number should have been surpassed.
It should be surpassed. I agree, but hey, I mean, the fans needed to show up in the freezing cold. I mean, you also had the men's basketball team happening just like right afterwards. So some concerns there. Of course, the Chiefs were playing, but the exclusive streaming game on Peacock, that was a hot mess on its own. But you want to know what wasn't a hot mess? The fan support. I mean, Sandstorm was blaring. But K-State went on an 11-0 run late in the game. It was insane. The phone lights were on. They were just doing Sandstorm. That was awesome. Wow, I can even see the colors flashing like you see light dark. Sorry, I got ADD. Anyways, but it's not just the crowds making many milestones. I mean, you want to talk about multiple records being shattered, and especially from one Ayoka Lee, in the second active Division I women's basketball player to reach 2,000 career points and 1,000 rebounds. Who I gotta look up who the other player is. It's certainly not Caitlin Clark. I'll give you that. Yeah, she could never reach those numbers. Also all-time block shots record at K-State as well, 283. She was able to surpass that as well. So, I mean, many milestones were broken on Saturday against the Horns. What better way to do it against Texas, by the way? Is like, wow.
I'm telling you, a little bit of send-off to make sure get your behinds out of Bramlage Coliseum once and for all. I understand the all-time record does not go our way. But when you get the last laugh, you get the last laugh, and ain't nothing you can do to change that. All right, y'all go home. Y'all go to the SEC.
That's the eternal scoreboard. Eternal scoreboard.
Y'all go ahead, go to the SEC. I think there'll be top 3 team in the SEC when they get there. So
you can always point up, hey, look at the scoreboard. You lost. We're sitting here packing with a big fat L.
Only thing that would make this sweeter if they were able to hand them a loss in Austin as well when they play them again next month.
No.
Everything you got to see. We'll get better by then. They'll get better by then. I expect another dogfight. And you know what? That's kind of what I want. Because you know why? Dogfights happen in March. And the more dogfights you can get before then, the better prepared you will be by the time you get ready to do some March Madness runs. So that's what I want. I want that fight. I want that challenge for them. You know, I'm not playing. I'm sitting on my couch watching this, but I'm sure they want that too.
Well, while we're on the subject of March in regards to how close we are and where things stand right now in the basketball landscape, no other team can say they have 17 wins besides Jeff Mitty's squad in K-State women's basketball. Not any women's basketball team, not any men's basketball team for that matter. That's just K-State. They have the most wins. 17 wins. Nobody else can relate. We're recording this on a Sunday, so yeah, I get to brag about that. I'm just looking forward to seeing whatever excuses VAP voters have now. I tweeted that. I called them out yesterday. I was like, come on. I mean, you saw the results. One of them's even a North Carolina person. He is blind to see where K-State is at because they beat the brakes off of North Carolina. This team deserves a top 10. Honestly, they should be in the discussion of being considered in the top 5 if we're all being honest.
Look here, man. They have not updated the rankings yet. I assume they will do that on Monday because there's a few other teams that need to play today. But there is absolutely zero damn reason for K-State to not be ranked in the top 10 by Monday afternoon. There's not a damn reason whatsoever because Baylor was ranked number 4. They lost twice since these rankings last came out.
Mm-hmm.
They have lost twice. Okay, if that ain't enough to move us up into the top 10, I don't understand. You know what? Something tells me they're going to move us to the top 10, and I feel like that's still too low. Even though, I got my wish for top 10.
You know what?
I still think they're going to be petty and just put it right at 10.
Maybe it's a blessing in disguise because maybe the reason why the women's basketball team is playing red hot is because they're playing mad that they're not in the top 10. I mean, we talked about it as well. The Texas game was the prove-it game on whether or not you're top 10. And even if K-State lost at Texas, I think this team is still a top 15. It's a top 15 women's basketball team for that matter as well. But you beat Texas, you beat Iowa, you beat several other teams as well, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Wisconsin. You got it. I mean, what else is there for me to say? They've done their job. They've done their job. It's now time for the APers to do theirs.
I'm just what else do you want them to do at this very point in time? Literally, what else? They're 17-1, right? This is the best record that Coach Mini has had coaching K-State. They're 17-1. You said it before, John. They literally have the best record in men's or women's basketball team right now, or at least check that, the most wins for any men's and women's basketball team right now at this very point in time. On this Sunday morning, on January 14, 2024, they have the most wins right now. The only loss came from Iowa. Iowa, who's ranked number 3 right now, they are at what? I think maybe 16-1.
Yes,
they're at 16-1. Their only loss came to us, and our only loss came from them. Okay, but yet they're ranked number 3. We're ranked number 12. We'll keep moving and grooving between 12 and 14. I don't know, some bull job that these AP voters are doing in putting us rankings. Look here, the material. Look at the material. It's right in front of your damn faces. But the only thing y'all seem to be looking at is the logo. All right, y'all looking at these logos. Y'all looking at name brands. Y'all looking at all of that except for the facts right in front of your damn face. Y'all don't put us. I want nothing. I want nothing lower than 9.
Honestly, I mean, look. K-State women's basketball is doing their job. They're just playing the women's basketball games that's on their schedule. All right, you and I, we're doing our job because unlike Jeff Mitty, us two, we're advocating so tremendously for K-State to be in the top 10. And the AP voters aren't doing anything. That's really what's setting this country back. It's just come on. We used to be a proper country.
We used to be a proper country. I'm just saying, man, the material. I'm gonna roll through that material again, because Yoki, when you told about all the record-breaking things she did in just this very game alone, with all those fans in attendance, she could be breaking more and a lot more fans in attendance with the roads and the weather permits. There's no excuse to be lower than 7,000 from this point on. Oh yeah, I'm touching back on that again because it's a long season, all right? But Yoki doing what she did, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks, a steal, and an assist. 4th player to score 2,000 points, K-State history leader in block shots, 9th in Big 12 history. That was her 55th career double-double. Boom. All that was seeded from the 7,000 strong. Cool. There will be more. All right. And then once again, looking at more material, Serena Sundell, she's a candidate for being one of the top players in the country. What she have? 12 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, and a block. The block that was a huge block in that game. It kept that game from, it was what? It was 45-43. Texas was up 2. That one block, her only block of the game, led to her assist to Zayana Walker almost like cross half court from where she was, half the floor. Boom, Zayana Walker hits that shot to go up one when that was a wide open layup that she blocked for them. Like that was like, what is that? That was like a 5-point swing.
Yeah,
in that moment alone.
5-point swing.
And a close game like this, a 5-point swing like that, I can't even tell you how big that was.
I mean, look. I mean, everybody. Well, I mean, this is no shot towards Zayana Walker by the slightest. She made an incredible three, but that play was choreographed by Serena Sundell. Not only did she come away with a block, she came away with the rebound. Well, is it a rebound or steal from that matter? She came away with a block. She was able to possess the ball, and then she just launches one right near half court. Gets it to Zayana Walker, makes one Texas player miss. She jukes him, and all of a sudden she just lets one rain for three, and then just chaos in Bramlage. It was so loud in there.
Honestly, the clip of that Serena block to the Serena pass to Zayana Walker for her shooting and draining a 30-footer. I cannot tell you how many times I've watched that clip just to hear the sound of the crowd. The sound of the crowd when she blocked it, boom, all right, blocked a wide open shot that would have gotten Texas up by, 4 at that point? No.
Block shot, yeah.
It would have.
4.
Yeah, they would have gotten about that 4 at that point, but then that shot right there, the hype of the crowd, the hype of the team, the hype of the coaches. When we watch this stuff, I'm looking at all the coaches. I'm looking at Jeff Mitty throw his hands up in the air like, yeah, I'm looking at the players, and I'm looking at the assistant coaches. I'm looking at everybody, and it seemed like that momentous point of the game, it seemed like it hurt Texas more than it helped K-State, if that makes any sense. Because then when we just talked about before, when this was a game, it was pound for pound. It was bucket for bucket. It was 12 ties, 11 lead changes for 3 whole quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, you said like Texas ain't never touched the lead again. Like that was the whole bit. When you had 3 quarters of them going pound for pound, man for man, bucket for bucket. Then that moment happened right there. Obviously fueled K-State, but it seemed like it just about deflated Texas. And I never thought I'd hear that about a Texas team.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when you look at it, like Madison Booker from Texas, a freshman, by the way, number 35, ironically wearing KD's number, right? She's gonna be a problem. Like in years to come, she is going to be a problem. But luckily, she's not gonna be our problem no more. Okay, because she was handing the Cats buckets, especially in that third quarter. That's why it's so needed. But when they were like, she was really their only source of offense at that point in time. Cats started to D up on them more. They started to come in with a zone. I think at the start of the third quarter per se. Count on one hand how many times they switched to zone this season, but that's still besides the point. It's that moment right there, the energy that K-State had from that shot, locking up more on defense. That kind of sense. I don't want to fully know if I want to fully call it panic from the Texas side offensively, because just nothing was going for them at that point in time. And so it was that moment right there that seemed to hurt Texas way more than it helped K-State, at least in my eyes, on how they started to play after that.
I think, honestly, it just goes down to this. The more things that were benefiting K-State late in the game, but late in the game, the more pressure that pretty much caused Texas to fold. That's really one of my indications. I mean, they were able to somewhat get themselves back into the contest. I mean, they had an opportunity and a chance to tie it in the final 15 seconds of the game, but just the shot didn't go their way. K-State was able to get it. But yeah, at the time, it did look like K-State was benefiting off of several Texas miscues. And at the same time, K-State was able to use that as a huge opportunity or an opportunity in terms of leverage, and just in terms of driving it inside, dishing it inside to Ayoka Lee, really putting the finishing touches on it as well. And really, I kind of want to go back to the defensive effort as well. The Longhorns featured 4 players averaging double figures in scoring averaging double figures in scoring. 4 of it. Those are Taylor Jones and Madison Booker for Texas. Taylor Jones only had 2 points. 2 points. And then Madison Booker, she led the team with 23 for that matter as well. But she along with Elia Moore, they were really really the ones giving K-State the most amount of problems. I mean, K-State did their part defensively. Like I mentioned, they limited Texas to, I believe it might be a season low with 58 points. Time will tell. I haven't looked at the stats as clearly as I thought I would, but you know what? When you're able to put out that kind of defensive effort against Texas, especially a Texas team where they have a lot of high-powered shooting, a lot of high-powered physical, athletic. I don't even know what the best way of saying it. Physical, athletic effort from all contributions, the amount of weapons that they can rely on. A lot of them were shut down. And K-State used every opportunity to capitalize on their end, especially late in the contest.
Yeah, and John, I just looked at Texas's record in the games they played in their wins. Yeah, this 58 points is their lowest on the season. I think their lowest prior to that was 70. Yeah, if I'm looking at these right, their lowest output in any game this season was 70. And they're at 58. Once again, like I said, that defense travels. That's why I think that as a team overall, Texas is so much better than Iowa. Because like you said, John, they have a lot of players that will give you buckets. And there was at least 2 of them that did give us buckets fairly consistently, right? But they were able to shut that down. And it was contributing from every single player. Because I know when Gabby went down the second time, like once again, I hope she's able to come back if she needs a game or two. I think I'm very confident in this team and the depth of this team that they'd be able to hold it down until she comes back. Because Gabby is typically guarding like the second tallest player on the floor. It seems like she's the toughest player on the floor at all times. Okay, so if she can come back quickly, that would be great. But when you have Zion Walker coming in for it, when you have Gisela Sanchez coming in for her, Gisela Sanchez actually blocked that 3-point attempt that would look like an air ball for Texas when they were down 3, the chance to tie the game. Gisela actually got a piece of that.
Yeah,
she was able to get a piece of that. So she she really was the defensive hero, because I don't recall the name of the girl who with the shot attempt. I'm looking at it real quickly here. It might have been Shaylee Gonzalez. They didn't have a lot of 3-point shooters, but I think that player specifically, her bread and butter is the 3-point shot, right? And she made one earlier in that fourth quarter to make it just a smidge tighter before, and it would have been from that same exact spot if she was able to drain it. But you had Gisela Sanchez with the closeout, able to tip that, cause that to be an air ball, cause I think Aaliyah Moore to try to chase the ball to flip it out of bounds, and that's when it went to Zion Walker, able to get across half court with maybe 4 seconds left to go in the game. That's how it was. It was another player, a good player, who had a chance to tie the game up for Texas, because they have those type of players. Once again, that defense traveled. Once again, that bench came through. Gisela Sanchez, she didn't have her game offensively, but defensively, when she needed to, she did what she had to do. Simple as that.
And really, I mean, you want to just talk about the defensive effort from both teams, because not only was that Texas's lowest scoring, lowest score for this season, this was also K-State's lowest point total as well. But what was previously the lowest was against Iowa, where K-State managed to put up 65 points. K-State put up 61. And on top of that, K-State didn't necessarily have the best shooting performance as well, especially when it comes to the 3-point shooting, for that matter as well, where K-State went 4-14. They were able to get 2 of them from Jalen Glenn, one from Gregory and Zion Walker, the third quarter buzzer beater. But this wasn't the best shooting effort from K-State as well. So while it was a little bit disappointing where where we did see too much showcase from the offense besides Ayoka Lee, who scored 21 points, came away with 10 rebounds. This team just did just enough to pull us off, and a lot of it was because of their defensive effort. It was really just because of their defensive effort, and they were just not giving out. Like I mentioned, they were digging deep. It was going to be a physical dogfight. Jeff Mitty knew it, the team knew it, and they were able to figure it out. And all of a sudden, I mean, now we're looking at the. We're pretty much on the summit of the Big 12. Several key games coming up, and I deeply hope TCU is not a trap game. We'll see if K-State's ready to go for that, because it's sandwiched between the Texas game and then also the Kansas game. I believe this Saturday as well in Bramlage. I think it's a double hitter for women's and men's basketball. But the Cats do get KU on Saturday as well. So that's one little thing that does concern me, is that TCU could be the trap game. And we're seeing a better performance this season from the Horned Frogs.
Yes, we are. And honestly, I'm glad you brought that up, because because it still has the potential to be a trap game, even though TCU started out the conference play ranked, I want to say 23 in the country. They had a lot of transfers come in. They had a new coach come in. They were doing the damn thing in the non-conference and to start everything like that. But after, I think, one of their best players, Sedona Prince, broke her finger, I want to say, 3 games ago, perhaps, TCU has been on a 4-game losing streak, if I'm looking at this correctly. They're 1-4 in the Big 12. Yeah, they're on a 4-game losing streak in the Big 12. Still not able to, I guess, find their footing after losing, one of their star players. So yeah, right this point in time, it could be a trap game. But like I said, the defense travels. The defense travels. I think we're deep enough to do something. And I also, K-State remembers last year. I mean, they remember going to Fort Worth and losing a game they should not have lost against a team who was winless in the Big 12 last year and lost that in Fort Worth. I think they remember that, because I don't want to be mean to them, but it was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. Not only did they not win a single away game last season, you also lost to the worst team in the Big 12. And I think they remember that. I think they remember that. There is not a single game that this K-State women's basketball team went into where they was messing around and trying to find out. There's not a single game. There is plenty of opportunities in that non-conference where they are playing scrubs, and they ended up putting up triple digits on them. There is not a single game where I think they was going to mess around and find out. It was giving 100% effort from start into maybe third quarter if they were up by 50. Okay, but to get them up by 50, they had to make sure they tighten up their shoelaces, make sure they put their sleeves on, whatever they got to do, roll them up, and to get to fighting. And then once that fight is over, then they can mess around. All right? But I have not seen them mess around with any sort of team, and I don't think they're going to start now with TCU.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, they have proven so far out of any team in the Big 12 that they are the most consistent on the offensive side, especially when you have the contributions of Ayoka Lee, Gabby Gregory, Serena Sandell, the Glenn twins. And then on top of that, you have several key playmakers like Sanchez and Zion Walker, who are able to fill in their shoes, and they're able to kind of keep steady, kind of hold a beating pattern for that matter as well. And then of course on the defensive side, Jazsmin, you mentioned it. It was a battle of the top 2 defenses this past Saturday. K-State was able to get it done over Texas. They have shown their grit and determination on the defensive side as well. I think right now this is the most consistent team out of anybody in the Big 12, and time will tell where things will be heading into March, because there's going to be there'll be several key aspects in terms of how other teams will kind of fare the rest of the season, whether or not K-State will deal with some injury concerns down the road. So many things can happen, but you really gotta like where this team is at. Honestly, not even like, you gotta love where this team is at. because we should be in the top 10 right now. I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to random up the AP voters today, Jazsmin. I mean, we might have to set an over under at some point, but it's infuriating. It's infuriating. This team has just done they've done the damn work. Come on,
There's
AP
nothing
voters
else
did
that they
one
do.
job.
Yeah, there's nothing more that they can do. They put everything they put in, like you've put in front of them, they've done it. There's nothing else you can ask of them from this point in time right now for them to not be placed top 10. There truly isn't. They've done the work. They've done the deed. They've done what they had to do. They've handled their business. Now, AP, it's time to handle yours and do the right thing. That's all.
Counting on you, AP.
We're counting on you. Do the right thing. Y'all watched the games. Y'all read the stats. The eye tests, they've passed with flying colors and then some. Do the right thing. But on that note, that's how I'm going in the show. By putting pressure, foot on necks with the AP voters when the list comes out on Monday. We will be watching. I will be watching. John will be watching.
Oh, yeah.
AP fan base will.
If not, then Jazsmin and I are going to do very unprecedented things.
And releasing the mob, getting the pitchforks, getting the torches, and we're going to politely suggest that you put them in there. But that's all. That's I can't get my point across any more than I already have. But with that note, you're gonna have to catch us back next time on Run It Back. Appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all for listening. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Go Cats.